We're live now, so you can use your headphones if you'd like. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Google Hangout interview with Rebecca Bayer of Bayer Nutrition. I'm Denise Posnack, founder and CEO of MyBod Wellness, and I'm here. I like to do these wellness talks with wellness professionals who I've worked with or who I know in the community and who I respect highly, and we have Rebecca Bayer here. Welcome, Rebecca. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about her, and then we'll dig right in. Rebecca Bayer is a registered dietitian and nutritionist in the state of New York and founder of her company, Bayer Nutrition. She works with clients via Skype, FaceTime, so if it's something you're interested in, she is available wherever you are in the country or the world. Rebecca has an extensive background in clinical nutrition, food service systems management, and community and public health nutrition. She counsels clients with a variety of nutrition goals, including diabetes prevention, gastrointestinal disorders, and cardiovascular disease. Her passion for nutrition expands beyond her counseling work, and she enjoys creating custom menus and recipes for her clients, as well as giving cooking lessons. She's a member of many organizations, including the American Dietetic Association, Nutrition Entrepreneurs, Pediatric Nutrition Groups, and Women's Health Community Group. She is also the featured nutritionist of Molly Sims' new book, The Everyday Supermodel, where Molly praises Rebecca's work as she's worked with her. So thank you, Rebecca, for being here. We're so excited. And,
thank you for having me.
Of course. Awesome. And you are in New York City right now?
I am in Manhattan. I'm located there, and like you said, I do nutrition counseling for my clients, so I see my clients in their home, in their office.
Wonderful. That's great. That's great. So here we are. It is spring break time. I mean, many of us have had spring break. A lot of the colleges have been out, but it's getting warmer. It's finally getting warmer in New York City. It's been a long, cold winter, and we're at that point where we have this compulsion to get spring break ready and get spring break ready really fast. Because guess what? The winter coats are going to come off. We're going to put the bathing suits on. And yes, we're going to be aware of our bodies a little bit more. And all of us, women especially, I know I've been in this place many times before, get into this indulge cleanse cycle where we're indulging over the winter. Again, we're inside, covered up, and then all of a sudden it's time to come out and we want to cleanse. So we do a juice cleanse, or we start a yoga challenge, or we start running every day, or we start starving ourselves and dieting and it just doesn't work. So Rebecca, I have worked with Rebecca, and part of the reason I'm bringing her on here is because she taught me to get out of that cycle. So tell us why that doesn't work, and tell us what does work.
Okay, so yes, it has been a long winter, and for many people, we put on a lot of those holiday pounds. It's also really easy during the winter months to sort of, with all the layers, to put on a couple pounds and get away with it. Come the summertime, or even for spring break, when we are trying to get bikini body ready, it's an easy, fast fix for people to go to things like a juice cleanse or a crash diet, but just like it sounds, it's a crash diet. It's one of these things that is very temporary. It's very extreme. Most of the time people don't feel so well on them because they're so calorically restrictive. Sometimes you go on a cleanse and there's only 600, 800 calories a day. That's not even enough for normal brain functioning. We need at least 1,200 calories a day just for us to, go about our day-to-day life and feel good. So anything that's so extreme is something you want to avoid. But I would love for us to, have a healthy, balanced diet year-round. But if you haven't done it during the winter months, at least you can start now. So for me, the way to really get yourself in shape is, yes, you should be incorporating, exercise into your everyday sort of routine, but it's balanced diet. It's eating a variety of fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and a little bit of fat. And this is a natural way to detox your body and get you ready to hit the beach in your bikini again.
I love that. That's so great. And it's funny because we do use this term bikini ready, and for a lot of us that brings up some anxiety, but the truth is, one of the things that you told me, Rebecca, when I was first working with you, and what were my goals, It doesn't matter what your goals are. If you want to be bikini ready, there's a reason you want to be bikini ready, whatever that means. And I do think we have to face that. You know, what does that mean to us? I want to ask you just a little bit about this, the diet that you recommend. It's a healthy, sustainable diet, and it includes lean protein at almost every meal. There's about 5 a day, and it also includes a lot of fiber, which is something I didn't really think about before I worked with you. Tell me about how that works and why it's important to have protein and fiber throughout the day.
So these are two nutrients that take a very long time to digest. They're also very satisfying to us. Because they're satisfying, they can help to reduce your cravings for other things, but they also take so long to digest in your body that they're going to keep you feeling full for a lot longer than other foods. So pairing the two together, you know, can be fiber coming from fruits, from vegetables, and from whole grains. So a high fiber cracker with a lean protein such as turkey or smoked salmon on a high fiber cracker, or an apple and low fat cheese or Greek yogurt and a mixture of berries is a great way to add that fiber and protein. Fiber is also really helpful to keep you healthy. It's been shown to lower your cholesterol levels. It's been shown to help with your blood sugar. All of these things are important for just everyday health. So beyond just, you know, cravings and temptations, fiber and protein are going to do a lot of really healthy things for you day to day.
That's great. And what about, before we started the live hangout, Rebecca and I were chatting about food that is really nutrient dense. So Rebecca, can you tell us a little bit, even though we've heard it before, like how having nutrient dense food is important for keeping your energy levels right and all of that?
Right. So you can stick to something that is low in calories, but, you know, just like you were saying, it's not nutrient dense. So things like candy, things like just refined carbohydrates, you know, you can find low calorie products, but they're not things that you want to put in your body. You know, what I want to put in my body are things that are full of vitamins and minerals, antioxidants. These are things that give you lasting energy and they keep you looking young. So the key to really keeping your skin healthy and young and feeling your very best starts with foods that have a lot of vitamins in them. You know, so vegetables that are brightly colored, so peppers and tomatoes, you know, fruits that are brightly colored like raspberries, oranges, all of those sort of things that give a lot of color are the foods that you want to put in your body because they're going to keep you young, active, and feeling your very best.
I love that. And in addition, so one of the aspects of Rebecca's plan and plan for her clients, plan for me, what is to also add in, even though, yes, we know we need to have our protein and we need to have our fiber and we need to have our vegetables and our color, and we might know that. Some of us don't. Most of us do that are probably on this hangout. But we also need to have a little treat. And at the end of the day, in the plan I was on with Rebecca, there is, and I'm still on it, it's not a plan for a short period of time, it's a lifetime plan. There is a dessert at the end of the day, or maybe 2 glasses of wine. So, and the dessert is specific. It's not, you know, a piece of cheesecake, but it's a high protein, low sugar dessert, which is actually satisfying. It actually feels healthy. So, Rebecca, tell us about that need for, maybe psychologically, that need for a treat, that need for a dessert, or again, a couple glasses of wine.
Right. So, I mean, what I do is I really try to work with everyone's lifestyle. So if having a glass of wine at the end of the day is the way that you relax, I want to give my clients that glass of wine. You know, it feels like a diet when people say, don't eat this, don't do this. So, you know, for me to tell you, no, you can no longer drink, it's a constant reminder every day that you are on a diet. It's also, you know, we've all had that woman who, you know, she goes out to a party or to a friend's birthday and she says, oh no, I can't drink because I'm on a diet. I don't want it to be like that, but you do need to drink responsibly, so I definitely encourage that. And you need to also think about, you know, am I a drinker who, when I drink, you know, all bets are off, you know, I'm eating out of control? Well, then maybe we need to think about it. But treating yourself to something like a small dessert also is really important. You know, for myself and for most people, after we eat a savory meal, we want something sweet. and it can drive us sort of crazy. By keeping your dessert to something that is relatively low in calories, so generally I stick around like 90 calories or lower for dessert, it's enough to give you that sweet that you're looking for, but it's also not enough to send your blood sugar skyrocketing so that you are craving more things. So a little piece of dark chocolate, a sugar-free Jello, or even just making a low-calorie diet hot chocolate. So if you don't want to use the artificial sweeteners, all I do is use an unsweetened almond milk, and I heat that up with unsweetened cocoa powder. And it's a really delicious way to, get that sweet that you're looking for, not use artificial sweeteners, and to keep the calories really at a low stance.
Right. Great. That's so wonderful. And you've talked with me about it's the terminology. You like the word treat, and you don't like the word cheat. A lot of us cheat. A lot of us have there's diet plans or nutrition plans where you have a cheat day, where once a week I have friends who just, get the Ben and Jerry's and go for it. So what's this difference of treating yourself versus cheating? Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's a great question. And like you said, I hate the word cheat. Cheating is a bad thing. It's a really negative thing that we do. It's something that we do, either in the privacy of our own homes when people don't know, or it just involves a lot of really unhealthy foods. I don't want to put all these unhealthy foods in my body. I was just seeing online this girl had a cheat day, and she was eating thousands of calories, and it's just all of this hard work that she'd put in. It was just, she was basically maintaining her weight because she was eating very, very little during the week, and then she would go ahead on the weekend have one day where she just would sort of blow it, and then it was just this continuous cycle. But again, it's really about this negative word, that we're doing something really that we shouldn't. And instead, I want you to be able to treat yourself. So treating yourself is a positive, and maybe it doesn't even involve food. Maybe, you're meeting your goals, you're, doing all these really healthy things, and at the end of the week, you treat yourself to a massage, to a facial, something that is a healthy, just healthy and a positive thing. If it comes to food, maybe you're treating yourself to a small piece of cake. Maybe it's treating yourself to, a really, indulgent cheese. But again, it's that control, and it's a positive, healthy way to do it.
Yes. And one thing I recall having treated myself, and during our sessions together, and I had a challenging time accepting that I had done that. And I think, there was a lesson learned that it's okay, you did that. Maybe you over-treated yourself a little bit, but it's accepting those things and saying it's okay, it's a good thing, again, not making it about a cheat, but about a treat, and then moving forward. And there's a term that that sticks with me every day, a Rebecca-ism, that is, you just get back to normal. The next day you get back to normal. If you had 5 desserts last night because you couldn't handle yourself, you don't wake up the next morning and not have breakfast and not have a snack and not have lunch and eat just a salad for dinner. You don't do that. You get back to normal. So what's important about that, and how do we help people just really adopt that? What's scary about getting back to normal, and how can we help people do that?
So, we all do this thing where we end up blowing our diet, and it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to myself every so often, where I ate a lot more than I intended to eat. But it's not beating yourself up. And when I say get back to normal, it's you get right back on the wagon, It's you pick yourself up. Yes, it happened. It's in the past. It doesn't, mean that it becomes this excuse to do it whenever and just say, okay, well, I'll get back on track. But it happens, it's progress, not perfection. So the progress comes from the next day. It's, okay, I'm going to start off with a healthy breakfast. I'm going to have, my healthy lunch and a snack and my dinner. It's not the next day hating yourself, beating yourself up, starving yourself all day to make up for what you did the day before. That's a really unhealthy way to live. So it's just, what happened, and that's okay. We're all going to have our treats. We're all going to have those times where we get a little bit out of control, but it gets better and better. And as you move along this, you're going to find that you handle yourself better. You're going to find that your recovery process is better, that maybe you overdid it at dessert, but you stopped there, you know, instead of it turning into the next day, you know, you're even worse. Because the other part of it is when we go ahead the next day and beat ourselves up and we starve ourselves, ultimately that's starving. You get too hungry and you're going to end up, you know, overindulging again or making a really poor choice again the next day. So it's just, I want it to be that you get right back on track, and that starts by eating a healthy breakfast.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So at the core of all of this, for many of us, we go to food to help us feel better. Okay, so there's this, we think that food is going to solve our problems, and that's one thing. You continued to remind me that food is not going to solve your problems. It's not going to give you a hug. It's not going to be a listening ear. You know, it's not going to calm you down. It's actually going to make things a little bit worse. So if you, obviously we need to eat. So you know, yes, food, this is a general, right? Unhealthy foods are not going to. So what is this? Like, how do you deal with, I know how you dealt with it with me, but like how do you deal with this tendency in a lot of us who go to food because we have a crappy day, or we're tired, or we were just let down?
Right. I mean, you know, the real issue here is that food can become a major addiction. You know, sugar is definitely addictive, and our body really seeks these things out. Unlike other addictions where you never have to go into a casino, you never have to be around alcohol if you choose not to, you never have to take a drug, you know, or spend time with people who do drugs. But food, you have to eat, and you have to deal with it every day. You know, this generation of people have gotten really good at masking our feelings, with not dealing with our feelings. And, you know, yes, it is unpleasant, and there are times where it's easier to, you know, to just do something that makes me feel really good. And that usually is what we do with food is, you know, my day is really crummy, you know, or my boyfriend broke up with me, or there was a death in the family, and I'm going to make myself feel better by eating something that gives me a lot of pleasure. You know, it's sort of, you know, the way that we have this release of serotonin where it's a feel-good feeling, but that is really temporary, you know, and at the end, you know, if your boyfriend broke up with you, eating a bunch of cupcakes to make it feel better, yes, in the moment it might have felt better, but he still broke up with you, and you still have to deal with those things. And just like you were saying, it can't give you a hug. It can't make you feel better. It's never going to tell you, Denise, you know, don't worry, your day is going to be fine, tomorrow's going to be better, you know, it's not going to give you a hug. Your problems are still there. So ultimately, we just need to learn how to cope with these problems, you know, talking to somebody about it. You know, and I tell a lot of my clients that when they're in that moment and they want to reach for something that they shouldn't be eating, something that's really unhealthy, that, again, they're going to probably just feel worse because, you know, now you've got the problem and you've got the guilt that you are feeling because you just, you know, destroyed your diet or you ate something really unhealthy. It's thinking through the thought. You know, sometimes it's as simple as getting up and changing your action. You know, if you're, you know, wanting to do this, it's changing your behavior. You know, get up and call a friend, ask them how their day was. You know, go clean your bathroom. You know, reorganize your bookshelves. You know, it's something very, you know, simple and boring, but it really helps to break up the thought process. You know, you might find at the end of it, you no longer want to deal with, you know, your feelings by eating something unhealthy. You know, it's just changing, it's moving a muscle, changing a thought.
Yes, and I would like to say that that was a theme of our work together, was that taking an action. A lot of this, in addition to it being it's an addiction, it's also a habit. So
Right.
what I noticed in my work with you is I'd get off the phone with an important sales call or something that made me feel a little vulnerable, and I would immediately, my body would immediately go to the kitchen. It just would go. I wouldn't be thinking about it, but I'd be opening the cupboard, and all of a sudden I'm looking for something. And that change of muscle, change of thought is key. Now, changing a habit is not an easy thing to do. So this is the part where I just want to come in and advise and encourage everybody who watches this to, if you have the goal of changing the way you eat, and you're changing your relationship with food, get some help. Get some private help. I hired Rebecca. I had never worked with a nutritionist in my life. I was a dancer. I was an athlete. I knew about vegetarian food and healthy foods, but I didn't know how to really relate to food. And I couldn't, as Rebecca said, it's not about perfectionism. It's about progress. I was such a perfectionist that I would, again, build myself up and then crash. I'd be amazing for a week and then I'd fall out. And having the accountability, Rebecca was very generous, knowing that I was checking in with her and having her communicate with me via text messages was just vital in my ability to learn that, as she said, over time, I can learn to do this, and it will get easier, and it takes work. It's not going to happen overnight. So, right. Rebecca, what about this accountability thing? What about, like, how important is that, and how can people do that for themselves? You know, obviously they can hire you, which would be wonderful, or hire a nutritionist, but what else can they do to help themselves be accountable?
I mean, there's so many little things, you know, especially that you just said, to really work on for people. You know, it's creating new habits. And yes, you can teach an old dog new tricks, you know, and you could do the same thing for yourself, where it's, you know, identifying some of the issues that you're having, you know, this getting off the phone and having this immediate, you know, reach for the fridge, you know, just being able to call yourself out on little things like that. So maybe it's creating a new habit. You know, I know that when I get off the phone, I feel really anxious. So instead, again, it's not that cheat, it's a treat. You know, it's, I'm going to treat myself when I get off the phone with these important people, that I'm always going to have something in place, you know, whether it's a small piece of dark chocolate, whether it's a big bowl of, you know, berries, creating a new healthy habit. You know, so it's a lot of little things that we can do to create a healthier part of our life. You know, maybe it's journaling. You know, I tell my clients to keep a food journal, and it's the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, it's all the good things that I did for the day, and maybe it's some of the not so good things, but how can I, you know, change that situation? You know, identify things that were problems. So if I'm looking at my food journal for the day and I see, you know what, I let myself get too hungry. That's why I ended up eating something I shouldn't have had later. Okay, tomorrow, you know what, I need to be more prepared. So it's little things here and there. You know, it's being better to yourself. You know, it's not all the bad things I did. It's what are some of the good things that I'm also doing, you know? And, you know, beyond just seeing a dietitian, some of us need to see someone for a little bit more help than that, to talk out our problems. You know, so much of what I do, it's creating a healthy relationship with food, you know, where you're eating just balanced meals, where you're treating yourself with good foods, and learning to love the body that you have, you know, and making it the best body that you can have. You know, that doesn't mean getting to a size 0. You know, it means being your very healthiest, you know, every single day. And that's how you also make it something that's sustainable. You know, it's more than just losing weight. It's making this something that you can do on a day-to-day basis, where you feel good every day, you're eating healthy every day, and there's room to indulge here and there.
Yep.
So.
And one thing I wanted to know, what your clients, what you see as sort of a common theme among your clients is in terms of a struggle. We were talking about this beforehand, and one of the things that Rebecca brought up was sustainability, and how to keep themselves seeing this as a lifestyle, not just something to do for a time period.
Right. So one of the things, I mean, a lot of my clients will ask me, you know, well, when can I add this? When can I have pizza? When can I have, you know, all these bad things? And I say, you know, these things are never going away. The way that you make this sustainable, and the way that you learn to balance, you know, your diet, is by always staying on top of things. You know, it's every day should be healthy, should be balanced, it should be full of the foods that you're eating, and then you can add things in. It's staying in control of what you're doing. You know, it's never completely just on the fly, you know, just whatever you decide to eat once you lose that that weight, because ultimately you're going to put it back on. It's learning how to treat yourself to things, but still staying healthy. When I choose to have a slice of pizza, I don't just have pizza. I'll have a salad with it. It helps to keep me in check. it also helps to start to fill me up. So instead of eating, 2 or 3 or 4 slices of pizza, I'm probably going to end up eating 1 or 2 because I have a big salad in my stomach. I also can walk away from that meal saying, you know what, I ate something that was healthy. I wouldn't get a burger and fries. I'd get, a piece of chicken and French fries. I'd get, a salad and a burger, some sort of balance there. So it's really, the key is to having something that's sustainable is creating a balance in your diet. So everything is a give and take. If I'm doing this, you know what, I'm going to pull back here. If I'm doing this, I'm going to incorporate this. I can't, maybe I had a bagel and cream cheese and lox for breakfast, so I'm not going to do the pizza for dinner. That's not a good night to do it. I'll stick with just my normal healthy dinner. It's looking at all your total day, every day.
That's awesome. Two last things. The first is what you just mentioned, which is this. Oh, I lost the thought. I'm so sorry. Okay, we'll skip to the other one. I'm sure it'll come back to me. And that is that, you mentioned staying in control. Now, it's interesting because this Christmas, this past winter, I learned to ski for the first time. Mm-hmm. And skiing is such a great analogy for things we're trying to do in life because it happens really fast, and there's a lot of fear involved, and it's dealing with, especially if you're learning it as an adult, it's slippery. It's a slippery slope. And the reaction, what I thought I should do when I'm going fast is pull back, right? That's what your body thinks it should do. And the reaction is incorrect. What I learned is that if I want to stay in control, I actually do something opposite of what I want to do, okay, which is I lean in. I lean into the hill. So for anybody who's familiar with skiing, the way to get control is to lean down in the direction you're going, which is actually pretty scary. So I want to share with everybody one thing you taught me, and this is, I would say, the one, if you can take something away, well, there's a lot here, but one little practice you can add in to your diet practice, the way you eat, is something that most of us don't do. If we have a party coming up, okay, or we're going, tonight I'm going out to dinner with friends, I know there's going to be a lot of food there, it's going to be really, or I'm going to go, and my sister's getting married this weekend, there's going to be food and drinks, and what our tendency is to hold back, do less calories during the day. So Rebecca, what do you say, give us the tactics or the technique for dealing with this kind of, you have an event coming up or you have a big dinner coming up. What should we do to help ourselves stay in control?
Right. So the best way for staying in control, especially when you're going out for a dinner or a party where there's going to be a lot of food, is, because we've all heard, don't spoil your appetite. I want you to do the opposite. I want you to spoil your appetite. So before going out to dinner with friends, or even, if I'm going out for brunch, anything that's going to have a lot of temptations, there's going to be a lot of food, I always make sure that I eat a really big snack before I go. Something that's high in fiber and high in protein. So, maybe that is a high fiber, cracker, high fiber bread, and some turkey or some low-fat cheese. Maybe it's a high-fiber cereal and some Greek yogurt. Maybe it's a protein and fruit smoothie before I go. Something that's going to really fill me up, so that when I get there, I can, I'm already full, so my eyes aren't really, really big. I'm not tempted by all the things around me. I also can think a lot more clearly. If I'm going on an empty stomach, chances are I'm not thinking that clearly. I'm going to make a bad decision. I'm going to overeat also. So eating something before helps me to really keep my calories down. I can make a much better decision. I'm going to eat less, and it's going to help me to stay in control. So it is something I always recommend, and the other thing is, it's just food. You can go home, and if you're still hungry afterwards, maybe it was a disaster, so maybe there was nothing there that was even remotely healthy. Well, I'm going to eat a very, very small amount. I might leave and not be that full. I might be actually a little bit hungry. That's okay. I can go home and it will be okay. I can eat something small at home and then I can go to sleep. I don't have to freak out. But if I'm going to an event and I am starving already, I'm going to end up eating way too much of bad things if I'm hungry, you know? So it really makes a huge, huge difference.
I love this. And now it came back to me, the second point, and I think this will sum it up beautifully. But what I'm hearing from everything we've talked about, from the beginning to the end, is that dealing with food in a healthy way is really about facing reality. So the reality is you can't have a cheat day of 5,000 calories
Right.
and still reach your personal goal of feeling how you want to feel in your, and I'm going to say it, bikini. You can't go to food and have all of these cupcakes because your boyfriend broke up with you to feel better, because you won't feel better.
Right.
You can't think that you're going to do this easily and be able to be, but it is progress. And so dealing with food and dealing with your relationship to food really is about facing reality. And it is such a beautiful place, and we don't want to, I love this journaling idea, you know, all of this, Rebecca, and I think that's what working with you helped me say, in reality, I'm not healthy with food. I'm not.
Right.
And that's step one, is realizing I don't know what I'm doing here. Even though I'm supposed to know what I'm doing here. I'm in this wellness field. I don't. And
Right.
that is a healing aspect of all of this work.
Right. And
So, yeah.
for
What
many
would you like to say?
people, it's just, you know, for whatever reason, we grow up with a terrible relationship with food, whether it's, you know, we had parents that controlled our diet very strictly and created this unhealthy relationship, or we had parents who overindulged us in food, or it was because we were doing something extreme, sports or dancing, you know, where our diets had to be really regimented. You know, there are a lot of different reasons why people grow up with very, very unhealthy relationships to food, and it's clearing all that away. It's starting over, you know, and realizing that food is here to, you know, nourish us. It's here for only good things. So getting rid of all of the negativity and starting over again, you know, and just realizing that it's here to help you, but it's not here to hug you or make you feel better.
Right. I love that. That's wonderful. And Rebecca, I just want to, for the viewers who are here today and who will watch this later on in the week, the recorded version, Rebecca she'd like to offer something for you, and I'm going to let her go ahead and say that, and you can reach out to her. If you look on your screen here, her website is right there. You can contact her through that website. And Rebecca, what would you like to offer our viewers today?
So for any new clients that sign up through this Google chat, I'm offering them 20% off my package price.
That's wonderful. And I highly advise investing in a package with Rebecca, seeing it through, giving yourself that gift of really paying attention and investing in yourself and investing in this relationship, which is a relationship you will have your whole life. There's no avoiding it, and it's good to really take some time to pay attention to it. I really believe that. And so I'm just so grateful that Rebecca was here with us today. I'm inspired. I hope you're all inspired. And mybodwellness.com, a lot of Rebecca's clients work with my company because Rebecca does advise a slow, focused type of exercise. So Pilates and yoga are great options if you are trying to deal with the healthy diet and exercise balance. So if you reach out after this Google chat, I am giving a $25 discount on your first session. So you can reach out about this through our Google chat. So thank you so much again, Rebecca, and have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time.